a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right. 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to shop talk with your girl, because right here, oh, we eat to read. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you.
Good
All
Good
morning.
morning.
right. There I am doing what I really don't like. Well, no, usually, like when you go on, people had it live. I sips my tea, but I'm sipping my tea early today. I'll get to talking, then I sips the tea. But the one pet peeve that I have, honestly, is when people are eating on live. Now, here's the thing: without a purpose, eating without a purpose, like, yeah, and you're probably like, okay, Mel, like we eat with a purpose to get full. I just feel like you should be like eating before you get on there, and not just sitting there and have me waiting for people to come on, and you just like eat your food, like eat first.
Well, I think it depends. I think that if it's like a setup,
Like when
like
they have that going on, that's what I'm getting ready to go to.
like a mukbang type thing, or
That's
it's like
what
you're
I'm getting
supposed to be
ready to go
having
to.
dinner
You
with the
jumped in,
host.
yeah, you jumped in beforehand.
Right. And then I don't think it's particular as long as they're not like spitting food out. I don't like because it be making me hungry. Like, can I get some? You know what
It's
I'm
the
saying? Like, you
smacking
gonna
for
share
me.
with me? Like that
It,
it makes me
people be,
hungry. It makes me
people be
hungry when I
smacking
watch
on,
people eat. So
they
I don't like
smack on
that.
live.
Smack. So a lot of 'em be smacking. I'm like, really?
And especially if they're
Is
like,
that
"Oh, it's
serious?
good," because I watched a lot of people taste test the Taco Bell chicken wings, and they was all like, "I
Oh, I
was like,
forgot
That's
Taco
a
Bell had
difference.
chicken wings.
it
That's
was
a
like
difference.
special."
Yeah, that's a big difference though, because you're actually testing it, which we are going to do. We talked about this bread, this gourmet bread. Where's yours? Oh, look at that. The honey wheat bread. That's the one that we chose. Okay. 20-ounce sliced bread. Black Bread Company. We talked about this not last week, the week before. So it took us about almost 2 weeks again.
Yeah, I got it on Monday.
So with hopes, now this is a red tie.
Yeah.
So we know the red tie know that it was made. We got it. You got yours on Monday?
Uh-huh. They
My
sent it out on
pink is
Friday. I
kind of
got it
like
on Monday.
an orange color. I
Well,
think
and,
this is
and
more
which
orange.
which would be like a red.
Okay.
That would be the red. So you got yours on Monday. So it was baked on Thursday.
Okay.
So we should still be good. Thursday, sent out
Right.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so we should be good. Well, we're gonna try this here bread. Now I'm not a bread eater, but I'm gonna try it. Amber, you toasted yours?
No, I didn't toast mine.
You didn't toast it. It feels soft though. It's
It's
soft.
very soft. And I would say, I when I opened the bag, it smelled very fragrant. It's very delicious. Very happy with the scent.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know. So for the listening audience, we are taste testing this black bread company, and it's called blackbreadco.com. It says bold and fresh. Is it bold?
Yes, I would consider this a bold
Yeah.
flavor. Hmm.
So is it worth $10 a loaf?
Well, that was with expedited shipping. Yeah.
Hmm. What do you
If you
think?
got standard shipping, you know.
Look, and there I go.
Oh, with the lip pop.
Yes.
Hmm. It's bread, but like for the bread lovers, how you feel? Black owned.
I
I
mean,
think
it's
it's worth
good.
it. It's competitive. It's market competitive. This is just
Okay,
as
you
good
feel
as
as though
any
it's
other
competitive?
bread I've had. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get this. We're gonna shop it or drop it.
Shop.
We can shop it.
We'll shop it. All right.
Oh no, the devil is a lie. You ain't getting none of this. Move.
This expensive bread. Shoot.
Yeah, you can't share. It's expensive. This is one.
This is expensive bread.
So we here on Shop Talk with Mel are going to shop the Black Bread Co. Bold and Fresh.
Bold and fresh.
Bread Company.
Yes.
Some brothers, all right.
Mhm.
And it's fresh. It says best used by May 15th. What's today?
The 7th.
Okay.
No, you got time.
What's up? And it's a red tie on there. Why am I talking about this red tie? This red tie means something, lovely people. So the ties on the bread actually lets you know how fresh the bread is. So a blue tie is a Monday, baked on Monday. Green tie baked on Tuesday. The red tie baked on Thursday. They sent it out Friday. We got it Monday. And the white tie is baked on Friday. Oh, and they also, some people bake on Saturdays. And if they bake on Saturdays, that's your yellow one. So
Oh, okay. And that's crazy because I worked for the local bread company there in Youngstown and never knew the meaning of the different types. Never paid attention to it.
Never paid attention to it. That's because what you do, bake?
No, bagged it. So therefore, I should have been paying attention, but they never did tell us.
Oh, they just had them there.
Yeah, they just.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Now, does this vary per company, or is this like a USDA standard?
Universal.
Yeah.
Universal.
Okay.
So that's how you know.
I mean, I paid attention to the different tie color, but I never knew what that meant. I just know, okay, today we working with the yellow tie. Today we working with, so yeah. Huh?
Y'all didn't have an orientation?
Yeah, but they didn't go over the tie colors.
You went to the bathroom.
I don't think, they didn't go over the color of the ties, what that meant. They might have done that like for those that are baking, but if we were just bagging it, I don't think so. We just knew we was bagging this one day. Okay, Art.
Art said that Nick is chewing hard. Okay, then. Nick, she works here. Hey, I gotta say, I'm not a bread eater. It's not bad though.
I pass a Darren.
Now you know who had an extensive orientation. Orientation is not how it used to be.
No, it's not.
McDonald's. If you worked at McDonald's, you had an extensive orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still have that? Because I remember being 16 and we had to watch these videos and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I went through one a couple weeks ago for the midnight job.
Was it extensive though? Do they still do?
Yeah, the videos we had to watch all day and all that, and take tests before watching the videos, and
you had a test before. Okay, so what you think, Amber, when you went to your last job? Was it extensive?
I had extensive training. I had lots of classes and videos and tests. And then we have like what is it called? Professional development, like ongoing safety training.
Okay, so yours was extensive as well. So that's it's still extensive. It's just us that's not listening.
Well, I think it depends on the position because I feel like some jobs, like being a cashier, especially if it's like a small company, I think a lot of the training has to do the size or the quality of the training has to do with the size of the company because they have more liability and they want to cover their behinds better. But yeah, I would feel like I've definitely had jobs where it was like a small company and they were just like threw you into the fire, like good luck to you.
Yeah, how you like it?
Yeah, exactly. Not very much training at all. Also, I feel like higher positions, better paying positions tend to have more extensive training.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering because I know, like in hours with in nursing, I guess they figure you already a nurse. Go ahead, get on the floor.
You already know what to do.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Bye-bye. Because I noticed like they'll come and it's like, okay, this. They tell you all about the company. Remember they used to tell you about the company? Do they still tell you about the company?
Yeah,
Okay.
some of them do. Some
Yeah.
of them don't. It
Who
depends
started
on
the
how
company?
big the
That's how
company. Yeah,
McDonald's was. Who started the company? How it started? Like that's how.
Walmart, they definitely they do it. They did it for my day turn job, the
Okay, so
cruise line.
they still
Yeah,
do it then.
Home Depot has extensive training too.
Oh, okay, so I'm happy to know that.
And lots of videos, tests, and all that stuff.
Do you think that's why people aren't working?
What do you mean?
Because a lot of people don't want to work still because you got to take.
because they got used to
Fear,
getting
some
that
people fear
pandemic
taking
money.
tests.
Exactly. That's what it is. I mean, it's basic, supply and demand. You're sitting here, fulfilling the demand, then there's not going to be no supply. So, yeah, they need to cut off them checks and people go back to work.
Hmm.
I thought they stopped with the checks.
They were
People still
supposed
get
to
their
have, but a lot of people are still getting because they never received it during that time. They were on the wait list, so a lot of
That's
people are
true.
still getting their money,
Oh, okay, so that's
or some of them are still waiting.
okay. That's different. I'm just talking about the people that was getting them and still getting them and refusing to go to work, and then they increased the minimum wage to the 15.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Oh,
was
it is
like, are they
15.
still doing
Now, across the nation or
No,
what
I,
state?
I don't
not
know.
in
Not across,
Ohio?
Now, I was going to say not in Ohio.
not in Texas.
Yeah.
But
They
in
still talk
I
about
mean,
seven twenty
where y'all
five.
getting remote? What? Wait, what now?
Ooh.
It's
Seven
still
twenty
720
five.
in Texas?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. For minimum wage. Yeah, I'm like this big old city. You would think they would. If you work in a minimum wage job here, you make it 7.25.
Well,
Wow.
you see, like
That
fast
ain't even
fresh
gas money for the week.
Okay.
well,
Every 2 weeks, that ain't even gas
that's an
money.
hour.
7.25 a
1 hour
minute.
is a gallon. But
Right.
what I'm saying is, like around here in this side of the world of the United States,
Okay.
you have you have like $15 an hour, like the fast food. I saw another chain. I'm not gonna say because they didn't sponsor the show. So another chain, you have some chains that are 15, and it's like 18, and nobody's still
Still,
buying.
I noticed
Well,
that.
I know of a chain. They had signs up saying 15, 18 for managers, 15 for, and they still can't get nobody because it's poorly managed. And at the end of the
Hmm.
day, people, especially when they're not the only one putting 15, 18 for fast food. I can go to another place and not be stressed out and work to the bone and disrespected. So, I mean, it's not just the
Now
pay.
when you say disrespected, elaborate, please.
Well, I think it's disrespect by upper management. I think it's disrespect by the customers. It's disrespect by your coworkers. Like, it's not the best. If we're talking about a poorly managed fast food restaurant, it's definitely not the best place to work. And then on top of that, you ain't getting paid nothing. That's why it's high turnover.
So if you're getting paid the $15, would you be
Maybe it's
okay?
worth it, maybe it's not. And I think that's why they still can't find nobody because
Ooh,
y'all know who I
I
can
don't
find.
care what the dollar amount is. It's not worth being You not gonna disrespect me. I don't care if you
Exactly.
So what
pay
do
me
you
fifty
mean by
dollars an hour.
you have
Disrespect me
to
if you want
elaborate? What
to.
do you mean by being disrespected? Because some people feel like if somebody gives you a directive that's disrespectful and that's their job. No, I don't want you on your phone
Right.
while we're supposed to be working here while
Yeah.
there's an order or a customer in front. Would that be disrespect to say, please put your
No.
phone away?
No, not
No.
that, but I've been in situations with different jobs before where the disrespect is because now I'm a manager. I could talk to you any kind of way, regardless of whether if because I've seen that happen with good workers and they still want to talk to them all crazy. I don't care, and I tell mine, I don't care what your job title is. I'm going to respect you in your title because you earned that, but you're going to respect me as an adult, especially if I'm doing my job. And so I let all of mine know. No,
But is that
no,
across the board though? It can't be across the board. Everybody can't be ignorant in management across the board.
No, and I think
some jobs, yeah, it and it's not. I think it's the person's mindset more or less anything, because you run across some managers that are like, I've had some that I was like, oh my god, they were the best manager or supervisor ever. I would love to work under them again if I ever go back there. And then you have some that when they get that position, they whole mindset change, and it's like, oh, you got life all effed up.
Okay, but the question is, like I said, is that across the board? Go ahead, Amber.
I'm not just that's like interpersonal, like direct management. I'm talking about like overarching, like from the corporate office. There's directives that companies will put in place that will show that they don't give a rat's behind about their employees. I'm like, this is BS. I'm like, well, it's coming from corporate, and it's like disrespectful, and it's like, yeah, they don't care about you, and they're just like, come get us this money,
right?
And like, oh, nobody, blackout days, like you can't call off for Christmas Eve or something, things like that. That's why I mean, as far as like large scale disrespect, which is like, you're not being appreciated as an employee. Then you got your disrespect from your coworkers or your direct management, your direct superior. Then you got disrespect from customers. $15 an hour ain't gonna cover all that stress, that mental stress.
Now,
I had one tell me.
But wait a minute though. When you say disrespect from customers, when you apply for a job where you're dealing with customer or customer service, wouldn't that be a given that there's a possibility that somebody may disrespect you?
And I feel like that's why it's a calling, just like so many other positions are a calling. You really have to have the personality for it. My first job was in customer service, and I did retail, and I got into retail management. And I say, I don't like people. I don't like the public. I don't like customers. And I learned that over time. You know what I'm saying? But I do think I have a very bubbly personality. I'm a very friendly person, but it's not my calling. And definitely that's a part of, that's just a part of that field, that industry. Like, you're going to be disrespected by customers sometimes.
See, that's
I've had that issue with,
I'm going to let you elaborate, Nick, because I know you're in the customer service. I have the mindset that if I go and I apply for a job, there's certain expectations. Now, yes, I'm here to get paid. I apply for this job. That's like, okay, working in a prison. It's almost 2 decades. Been working in corrections. Okay. Do I expect to be disrespected? Yes. That's an expectation, believe it or not. It's like, okay, well, I'm going in here. I'm dealing with people who don't follow the rules, and not saying all of them, but don't follow the rules, and they don't listen clearly. You know what I mean? And do I expect to be respected by someone who don't respect the law or respect people outside? No. If I am respected, that's a plus. That's a win for me. But I'm not going to get all upset and be bawling out. They call me a B. Child, please. I expected that coming in here because I am working with people who break the law. I expect to be not listened to because clearly this is what they do. You know what I mean? So, dealing with customers and being in customer service, that's where I'm going to go with you, Nick. It is a calling, Amber, because I can't do that. Listen, I would be like, this conversation's over. This conversation's over. Click. I would be fired. I would be so fired. But I found out because I was talking to a friend of mine. He was like, oh no, what we do, he said, you put them on hold. I said, is that what happens to me? They be having me on hold for like 10 minutes. Go ahead, Nick. So how does that work? That's a calling, like Amber said.
Yeah, you do run into the rude ones, and yes, I'll put them on hold forever and be sitting there like do, or because your calls are recorded. But some of them, I've run across several jobs. Some of them just went to the extreme. I had the one guy tell me, the last job for that lending company. Well, you make $9 an hour, so you have to work. You have to do what I say. I said, first of all, I don't make $9 an hour. Number one, I said, number two, that's none of your business. And no, I don't have to. You don't fall within the parameters of the guide. You don't fall within the parameters of the guideline. I said, your application does not meet the guidelines, so therefore, the answer is no. I had to, and he went to go get rude and start cussing, and I was like, you got one more time. I said, and then I can disconnect this call. He kept cussing, and I was click. And then, you have to read the notes, and he had been rude previous
Oh, you have
calls.
to put the notes in.
Yeah, he had been rude previous calls as well. So therefore, all of the customer service agents that spoke to that person, we were well within our rights to hang up on them. Yeah, cussing at people. I had to let him know. I was like, listen, you got the right one, and yes, these calls are recorded. And the one chick, the black girl, she, calling in, getting smart right off the bat, and I'm trying to help her out. And she said something, and I was like, excuse me, ma'am, listen, this is not what we're going to do. And she said, oh, you must be a sister. I said, yes,
but it
ma'am.
Shouldn't even be. It should
But
not
it shouldn't even be like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. She was like, you know what? Yeah, I could tell because you just put me in my place real quick. So, okay, sis. And then her whole demeanor changed. But why did it change? It shouldn't matter if I'm black, white, Chinese, purple, green, whatever. You're calling in for a service. We are here to service you and try to meet your needs. If you don't fall in those guidelines or you're not eligible, then you're not eligible. There's no reason to call in getting ignorant. But honey, I'm that one.
Go
that you're
ahead,
not gonna get
Amber,
ignorant
because
with me.
I want to get into that a little bit more. Go ahead, Amber. What's your question?
I want to say I think that especially for Black women, that switch up happens because I think we've been so programmed by society and by the Black community to think that every white person is the enemy, and if they have white skin, they're obviously trying to nefariously oppose whatever it is you're trying to achieve, and it's just not true. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I feel like as we continue to progress as a community and as a group of people, Black women, it's like you're going to have to acknowledge that not all white people are evil. Okay. And please don't assume every Black person is on your side or is going to give you a leg up or whatever.
And it's funny you should say that because that was part of the conversation.
Okay, wait. Stay there because I don't want to lose my thought. Go ahead. You said every Black person is not going to give you a leg up.
Right. Right. And we were just talking about on the last episode. And my personal opinion, especially if you're in a hiring position, no, absolutely not. You should hire people that are hungry and ready, because you're doing a disservice to yourself, you're doing a disservice to the company or your company, and you're doing a disservice to that candidate because you're not teaching them a life lesson that if you want success, you have to be hungry for it and go get it. Not I'm supposed to be entitled and I can be lazy and it's okay for me to be unprepared and not put forth effort and be disciplined, and I expect success and I expect a favor and I expect a handout.
And the problem is you discipline them or reprimand them, then they holler out racism.
Or if you're Black, then you're, all kinds of names. So I don't want to say on air.
You were like, oh man, what the heck happened?
Right. And that's when I feel like for me personally, that's when I'm gonna hit back. I'm like, and I'm gonna enlighten them about who they are and like their entitlement, and they're lazy and they're, what I'm saying, they want somebody to sit here and carry their butt. That's what that is.
And see, you and Nick, y'all hitting back. I gotta end it. I have to end it. And they probably like, oh, see, that's why we ain't like her as management. But it's the truth. You could go home. Go ahead, clock out. Like, why are we going back and forth? And just like what Nick was saying with the people, I would be fired because I would be like, okay, this conversation is over. Have a great day. Bye. End the call. Like, I'm done. And if the call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes, why do I got to make a note? Because y'all already recorded it. Y'all make the note.
Yeah, we still gotta
I'm
make
gonna move
notes
on
to
to the
cover you
next person.
behind as well, even
Yeah.
though the calls are recorded, because sometimes depending on the company or whoever, the calls can mysteriously disappear. So yeah, you want to make sure you document everything, cover your butt at all times. But yeah.
They
Yeah.
probably ain't even. They probably didn't even. You know how they be like the cameras on and the camera dead or broke.
Oh no, them calls be recorded because if you do something wrong, honey, they'll pull it up and let you listen to it.
I
Oh,
worked at a call center. This is true. This is true. And I had a nasty call one time and I did disconnect the call. And the last thing I said to them was that we don't tolerate verbal abuse here.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to let them know that. You have to give them
so,
warning.
what did they say to you after that, Amber?
oh, they called back. And then I
No.
responded with like,
What did your superior say?
nobody said nothing. Ain't nothing to say.
Oh, so, see, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
they let you know ahead of time that if you get a caller that disruptive and cussing and calling names, just you know don't let it bother you. But if they're verbally abusive, you warn them. You can warn them, and after that, and let them know. If you keep talking in that manner, or using that language, I will disconnect the call. If you have warned them after the second time.
You gotta warn them. What?
Yeah, to
I
cover
thought
your
you
butt.
said once.
To cover
Exactly,
your
to cover
butt.
your butt. Because
Because
some
they can come
people
back, yeah.
and
They can
think that
come
you
back and say,
genuine
well,
it's
they did
okay. They
this
can
and did
cuss and
that.
scream at customer service personnel without any consequences. And as a customer service employee, you're just supposed to tolerate it. And it's like, no, that actually, because then the company will be liable for allowing their employees to be exposed to abuse, psychological, emotional, verbal abuse without any reprimanding or on the part of the customer.
Yeah, the
So
company will tell you, in order for me to be able to back you up, at least give them a warning.
right.
We'll hear that. But yeah, that, because then the customer can call back and get you in trouble and say, I was talking and they hung up on me and this and that. So without them being recorded and without you putting your notes in, you need to double back yourself so you can keep your job.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have lost a few. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it if it's not for you. But while you're on the job, do your job. But be laying out your exit, getting them interviews lined up.
You said lay out the exit. How's your exit plan? Go ahead and write your
Right,
little letter right now.
right.
Put it down. But now I'll have where I hear, oh, I'm beeping everywhere. Sorry. I have where, like, even being at work, not, of course, I'll never mention the jobs, but the being there and you have a coworker that's in a different department that want to come and then want to keep going back and forth, back and forth. And this is what's interesting. You're really busy and you say you're busy. They want you to look up something or to get something, which they actually can do. Or you're like, listen, I don't know. I don't know. That's the answer. I have no idea. But you want to keep arguing with somebody to make them know. I got to go. I'm busy. I'm hanging up. And then they'll have a tendency to say, they'll call back and be like, did they hang up on me? Did you hang up? Yes. Why are we going back and forth? My answer is not going to change. Mm-hmm. I'm busy. Mm-hmm. So I just think people need to adhere to that. That's what I think as a coworker. Now, customer service, like I said, that's not my ministry, so I'm not going to apply for it. I'm not, because I already know. Am I a people person? Yeah, limited time only. But I'm not going to waste my time or waste my breath. And I know that I'm not arguing with somebody going back and forth if I can't give it to you. If this is what you want and I can't give it to you, I don't have it, our conversation is over. So it's like, why are we still here? Going around and around and you telling me what? Well, it's here and it's in it. I'm not going to argue with you. If that person did it, they know. I don't. They're not here. Have a great day.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, you get some coworkers that are crazy, and I'll nicely let them know, listen, professionalism ends when we're off the clock and we're on the other side of these doors. I've had to tell a few of them that.
Nick, you trying to fight.
I wouldn't say that, but like when you said have a great day, like, give them a cue that the call is coming to an end.
Listen, some people you just have to be straightforward like that. I mean, some people you just really have to be straightforward. You can be professional as possible and everything, but if they're going to keep coming back, you just got to let them know. Listen,
I have to do nothing but hang
professionalism
up.
ends on the other side of that door once our
I'm
shift
not going
ends.
to jail. I'm not going to jail and giving the government my money, giving the city my money just because
Right.
they want to arrest me. And then I got to pay all these fees like that. Child that done let the inmate go. He up here a mass murder, 75 years. And she done walked the corrections officer to let him out, and they on the go. They on the run.
She done fell in love with a murderer. Now he gonna murder her behind.
Man.
That's
Like,
what
that's
I believe.
crazy.
I believe he's charged with murder, but I know it was like 75 years. I said 75 years. 75 years. What did you do? Matter of fact, I don't even care what you did. 75 years, you did something tragic. And I don't want to put myself or my loved ones in that space.
No.
And they still on
Does
the
she
go.
have kids?
Huh?
Does she have kids? Because it came across my new feed.
Yeah, I'm not that invested in those folks, so I don't know if she has children, but I do know that they're still missing.
Okay.
Okay.
So nothing new, honestly.
Okay, one of the viewers said no, she doesn't have any children. And you got they found the truck van, whatever, it was red. I just saw it red. And they still can't find them. They're on the go. She sold her home. I think she got $95,000 for her home. And she invested in this relationship.
Oh, yes. She's a candidate for his next victim. He got a plan. Trust me.
Or she's gonna be killing with him, with Bonnie and Clyde style. But it's I mean, I feel like this is just human nature and the way some women can operate, and it's the way a lot of women will do things when they're in love. So because I feel like it never ends well for these people, and depending on how fervent they are to find them, she's gonna be in prison.
Well, yeah.
And it's just like, did you think that far ahead? Did you know what I'm saying? And I just, so I'm an emotional person. I get it.
Okay.
But what you have to do is realize, it's like, separate yourself from your emotions. It's not that you shouldn't have emotions or that it's bad to have strong emotions, strong positive emotions, strong negative emotions, what have you. It's okay to have strong emotions. But you got to be able to separate yourself from emotions and then acting on them.
She need not be working there.
I agree.
The way that she held the door, because they showed how he came out after her,
right?
But she held the door for him.
Right.
Had she not, maybe they'd be like, "Oh, okay, she probably didn't know, and she could have got out of it." You know what I mean? She didn't know he was walking out behind her, and then he kidnapped her. But he was totally cuffed. Mm-hmm. He was cuffed, just walking forward, and she held the door. And I'm just thinking, you could be an emotional person, but that's when you need to quit. Put in your resignation. Be like, "Oh, wait a minute, I think I'm falling for this person. This is not my job. Right. This is not for me. I need to remove myself from here." And you being in that environment,
but that's a level of self-awareness that a lot of people don't have.
No, that's true. But being in that environment, they have nothing to do but to study you. And so it's one of us, the whole bunch of them. So they all studying, like, who gonna get whoopty woo. So they don't have nothing else to do. You got nothing but time. So let me study this individual and see how this person is. Mm-hmm. And somebody came to me, I'll never forget, this was probably about 2006, 2005, 2006. And it was this guy, and he actually shared that with me. He said, "Nurse Ross," he was like, "I got every other nurse, but I don't have you." I said, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah." And he shared about the whole studying thing. And he said, "I got everybody down to a science." He said, "I just can't figure you out." I said, "Oh, okay, that's nice. Here you go." Gave him alcohol swab, prick your finger, do what you got to do. Like, we don't need to have this conversation. Mm-hmm. So he said, "Just please tell me if I'm right or wrong. I'm handling business still on that. I'm not dealing with you," right? So then he goes to speak. And he's saying all this stuff. And he's like, "Tell me, am I even close?" So he going, we finish everything up. He said everything. And he said, am I even close? I was like, not at all. He was like, I'm going to figure you out. I walked out that door. I could not believe it. He was dead on. And I'm not going to tell him that.
Right.
I was like, nope, keep trying. Pushing my little stuff. But yes, Tish, she's right. For the listening audience, she says that they have nothing but time to study and manipulate.
And I also want to point out, I also wanted to add to that these males in prison, not only are they manipulative, and I'm so glad she chose to use that word, but I feel like it's like a false sense of power. And that's a lot of women end up being manipulated and taken advantage of, because those men literally have no power. They're currently in a position where they have no self-control over anything in their entire life. So to sit here and create the illusion of being over or being in control of, particularly a woman, because it's usually a woman that it happens to, it's incredibly manipulative, but it's a complete fallacy. It's a complete lie. That prison guard had all the power, had all the control, but all his sweet nothings and his studying of her and his manipulation of her made her feel like we can do this and we're in love and all this other nonsense I'm sure it's going on in her head to get her to that point, to sell her home and help him break out of prison, all this other nonsense. Like, these males are incredibly manipulative, and that manipulation is rooted in the fact that they actually have no power. They actually have no control.
You sold your home for this guy?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, it's gonna end so badly for her, and I feel it hasn't happened yet, but I feel it coming, and I just it's going to be so ugly.
I feel it coming.
Yeah,
sorry, not that much love in the world. Because guess what?
Maybe they're gonna live
down by yourself.
Maybe they're gonna live off the land.
If she's fairly intelligent, and I'm sure he's had, like we said, plenty of time to sit here and study and plan. I'm sure they have a long-term strategy. They're probably leaving the country, but I hope they thought that far into the future.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, 95,000 you got for your home, so you got to be willing to live off the land. But 95,000 is really not going to get you anywhere. To be realistic, like now,
get you on the.
Gas is $4 a gallon. They had to ditch the car. They on foot now. Go ahead, Nick. Say what you got to say.
I just said ain't that much love in the world. You doing the crime, you doing the time by yourself. I'm not participating.
Well, like I said,
I like staying on this side of the gate.
Emotions, and I would guess that she's a very lonely woman.
I'm an emotional person, but baby, I'm not that lonely. I'm not that emotional that I'm going to do something, work in the prison and fall in love with the prison. But no, you're in prison for a reason, especially if you're there that long and you accused of murder. What I want with you? Nothing. There's nothing you can do for me.
What?
No. Well,
Can Letitia Renee expand on suicidal tendencies? What did you mean by that?
Okay, that's one of. Let me actually. We went to the comments. I still got listeners. So I had to be like, hold on, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can cause suicidal tendencies when you fall in love and you find yourself stuck. I have witnessed, not suicidal. Well, yeah, suicidal tendencies. I have witnessed as well. But if they don't make it, and that's what she's speaking on, Letitia Renee, if they don't make it, they'll cause, you'll have suicidal tendencies like that woman. That'll be it. I think, what did you say? I think Nick said that, didn't you?
What?
You were talking about, or was that you, Amber, that said they'll be dead, he could kill her, or she'll be killed herself?
I said he'll probably kill her.
Now, when you said being lonely, let me share this. You have, when you're in there, you'll have people who are married who fall in love with inmates. You'll have, even same sex, let's be real.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, wait a minute, you're having an affair with inmate and you have a wife outside. you have wives who have husbands, but their husbands isn't paying them any attention. And then you go in there, you got all these men staring. So they know when your hair has changed. They know when you did something different. So they're commenting on that. So it breaks you down. Even if you come in there with a hard exterior, it's almost like Brewster's place. And you keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away till they get that wall down. And once that wall is down, you're like, oh my God, how did I get in this position? I've never been in that position because I don't get close enough.
I guess the older I get, I'm too evil for all that.
But even young, like I was in there at 20 something. Mm-hmm. So I was younger, but it can happen. And believe it or not, it happens mainly to the older ones.
Older women or older men?
Older women, yeah, older women.
Yeah, because they,
like I said, lonely.
Crave that attention and
the attention of being lonely.
But they'll have a spouse, so somebody's there. And let me be clear for a listening audience: yes, you can have somebody with you and still be lonely.
Amen.
So
yeah,
Amber's right on that. So you can be with someone and be lonely, but those, believe it or not, like I said, those older ones, and you just be shocked because I know I was shocked. I think I was more disappointed. I was like, I felt like they betrayed me. I wasn't even in it. I'm like, oh. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, oh, no way, no way, no way. And then a friend of mine was like, it's true. She said it was true. Listen, I had her back 110%.
Can I think?
Wait a minute, wait. And I was upset and I was defending her. And I was defending her to her. And this is where the respect came in. And I have to respect her. She said, Ross, because we go by last name. She was like, it's true. I mean, I was up here. Boop, 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 boop. I was doing the Nick. Keep talking. And then she's like, Ross, it's true. And I was like, Ebbet, what?
like the betrayal.
Yeah. The betrayal. She cheated on me, with an MA. I was like, huh? But I said, wait, what? And then she said, yes, it's true. And I have so much respect for her that she had enough respect for me to tell me the truth. Because she didn't have to say anything to me anyway. But she did. She told me. And once she told me, I was like, man. But it was a wake-up call for me, too, because you never know. When you think you know somebody, you really don't know someone.
You don't. Right.
Yeah.
And kept that. If the cameras, I guess, weren't there, nobody would know, because that was, look, that they had an alliance, because we was like boom, cool, like boom. But people know who they can talk to as well, and who they can say things to. And clearly she didn't say anything to anybody. So maybe that's what happened there. That nobody, the people were surprised, because the coworkers was like, wait, what? So when I look at that situation, I don't even know the child's name. It happens so often, especially when you work in that field. You'd be like, oh, okay. But 75 years, I'm still stuck on that.
Really? Okay. Well, my point was going to be, do you guys think that it has something to do with like the bad boy appeal? And because, some women, even in older age, still have an affinity for the quote unquote bad boys. And I feel like having an affinity for bad boys manifests in making excuses and belittling their offenses, and having empathy for them, and that sort of thing. And that lays the foundation for a connection to even form.
That could be. And I'm giving my own stats. Probably like 75% of the time it's that bad boy thing. And the other half is they're paying you. They pay you outside. They have the family pay you, you know what I mean, to take care of you. So now that's your man. In some sense, women are like, what's love language is gifts, the love language. Right. And they're taking care of you from the inside, because a lot of them do have money. So they're taking care of you from the inside. You see them at work, y'all dating like that, I guess. Honey, listen, I require time, but not that kind of time.
Yeah. Art Baldwin said all it takes is a response to a conversation.
And that's true. That's true. And you can be caught up, but you can be that strong person. I don't care what nobody says. You can be that strong person and you can get caught up because, just as you stated, emotional. And they're talking, and then you're like, oh, I like their personality. Okay, well, maybe they did this, they just got caught up in this situation right now. Eventually, they're gonna get out. And I mean, you have all of that. And so I don't say weak women. I just say women. Because we already know once you get our mind, and I'm sure guys, they're gonna study us because they want us, okay? So once you get our mind, the body will follow.
Right. And, but I mean, it was more than just the body for this situation. A lot of these prison break situations, you know what I'm saying? Like he's using, maybe he really has feelings for her. Maybe he doesn't. We don't know. But it was greater than just sex because she helped him to break out.
Right. And potentially have sex. But like I said, once you get our mind, the body will follow. The flowing. Once you get our mind, we'll start flowing. Just start flowing. And you'll be like, oh, and you find yourself like all caught up.
Right.
But that situation, yes, she's going to be jacked up.
Yeah.
She's already jacked up. Let's be real.
Yeah, thank you.
When you sold your home for this plan.
Oh, Jesus.
And she was in position of power, and she's still going to go to jail because she's in position of power. And he can't, by him being an inmate, he can't, what's the term? When you molest somebody? Consent. He can't consent. So she's going to be going to jail for that, once, if it gets physical. But I'm sure it's going to get physical because he already did some time before. But my thing is, you did all of that. I mean, this is a great story of manipulation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
to the max.
Yes. And the sad part is by him manipulating her, it's not going to be on him. It's going to be on her because she's in a position of authority.
Yeah. And also, I would like women and men too, because you got that one show, Prison Love or whatever. But his situation, even if they get caught, his situation can't get no worse. He was already serving 75 years. He's just going to go back to exactly where he was.
He doesn't care.
Exactly. If they get caught, her life is destroyed. It is over.
Listen, it's over now when she made that decision.
Right. And so she is taking on way more. She has way more to lose if they get caught than he does. And again, this goes back to like this false idea that they're equal or that he has any power or greater intelligence or greater understanding than she does. Like if he had greater understanding and greater intelligence that she should bow down to or follow, he wouldn't have been in prison, right? Like she may not be that intelligent, but she was smart enough to stay out of jail for 75 years, right? But it's this manipulation thing going on. So now she has way more to lose than he ever will.
Now watch this.
But she's following after him.
So do you think that's why a lot of places don't like hiring women in, and I'm using air quotes so they're listening in the audience, in male roles?
Yes.
And I think there's a reason why they don't like to hire men in female roles. There's good reason for that too.
Now, elaborate.
Because I do think there's, for the most part, there's, gender biases and just like in this particular situation, why it's not ideal to have female corrections officers. I think there's situations that are positions traditionally filled by women. And that's because there's like some gender biases that will make it more challenging for a man to fulfill that same role effectively. We are different. And we're socialized.
We're nurturers.
Right. We're nurturers. And so it's just because it's not for you doesn't automatically make it sexist, in my opinion.
I get that part, but it's just, to me, I just look because it's like, okay, a female, and we can't, because we all like, women's live equal rights, the whole nine. And this is for the sake of the conversation. I'm with that. But I do realize that, okay, I'm a female. Like, I'm not going to go out to be a football player, but you have women who wants to go and be football players. Just like you have females and males, like Boy Scout, Girl Scouts. They got the two. Remember, we talked about that. Nick, you remember that a while back where some of the boys wanted to be a Girl Scout.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like they have a Girl Scout, and then some of the girls wanted to be Boy Scouts because they identified as boys. And it's like, that's why we have the Girl Scout. We're making two, just like, what I mean? You're making two so that everybody can be equal, but we want, and I'm just going to just throw myself in there. We want that too. You know what I mean? If I'm a female identifying as a male, okay, well, yeah, you got the one for the girls, but that's like a girly girl. Should we reclassify the girl, the Girl Scout, the girl role? And it's like certain jobs, if you feel as though that you are getting weak, resign. I said, this is a message to somebody out there. If you feel like you're getting weak and being interested in an inmate or somebody, and they're still incarcerated, resign. If you feel like you're in a position that you don't want to be in because of how you feel and you find yourself vulnerable, remove yourself. Remove yourself. If you don't like it, remove yourself. And we've been brought up, if you don't like something, change it. Now we're going a little far with the whole cancel culture. They're trying to change everything. And it's like, wait, why don't you just not deal with it instead of just, boom, canceling the person? On that note, let's move on to Dave Chappell. Now, dude was attacked. Did you see that?
I saw it, but I have not really followed this story.
It was a quick story because his arm, they threw him in a chicken wing.
Yep.
Backwards. Like, listen here, don't try. And they're going to be calling, they're going to be like, oh man, he went up there to try to Will Smith him.
And it didn't work well for him whatsoever because Dave Chappelle clearly let him know, I am not Chris Rock.
But besides that, Chris was actually there and he came down. He said, was that Will Smith? Which was hilarious when the guy came and jumped on the stage. But they jacked him up. They was kicking him. They was doing everything. And let me tell you, I don't condone violence, but I was not mad. I said, see, that's what I'm saying. People doing way too much and then you want to be victim. So it's like, okay, you want to victimize and then you want to be the victim. Stop. This is what you get. You play silly games, you get silly results. And he looked real silly with that chicken wing. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, did they break his arm? What? But that's what you get. Now, in that case, the guy, he was able to just climb up on the stage and run and attack him.
Okay.
Remember the barricades? Like if you were at the amusement park, you had them little silver things. And back in the day, you remember they had, like, if you went to a concert, maybe 20, 30 years ago, you were so far back from the stage. You're so many feet back from the stage, where now you're like right on the stage, so you could connect with your fans. Do you think they're getting ready to put that back?
Probably.
I think definitely a lot of the bigger celebrities, or if the celebrity in question has safety concerns, I don't see why not.
Because haven't you seen it like the some of the concerts where I think it was Beyonce, somebody like tried to grab her off stage or something? It was some time ago. Because you touching their hands, boom, 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 as you walking by. These people are out of control. And then a young man had like a fake gun. I don't know how he got that in there with a knife on the other end. It was like a plastic gun with a knife.
Slacking. Security is slacking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. See, Tish said, I'm surprised that there weren't any separation barriers. It's different. And
even with the separation barriers,
but
they still let people walk on the other side of that to stand right directly in front of the stage. I've witnessed it right there at the amphitheater. The concert last September, we had first row, so there was separation barriers.
But that's what's happening. Before you had the separation barrier, but you had the police lined up. So you had the little metal gate or whatever they had there. Then you had the police there and their bodyguards in front of the stage. Then, you were able to see, but that was some years ago. Now you're able to like touch your fans. Here you go. Boom. Everybody's happy. Well, they're getting ready to go back. Right. It's getting ready to start right back over the way it was. Nope. That's the celebrity. You're separated. You can't reach out, only on Twitter. You know what I mean?
And
That's the
it's
only
so
way.
disappointing. I don't know if I'm the only person, but a lot of these celebrities, I've just lost so much respect for them. It's like I didn't need to know all that. Like
With the Twitter,
tarnishing their image, not just Twitter, but all social media. It's just like there's no mystique. There's no. It's just like, can you just do what you're paid to do and leave it at that? You know. I mean, I think some people really like it, but to me, it's too much. Because I guess I'm not that into celebrities to begin with.
Well, you know what though? That's what people were saying with the whole Jada and Will. Like we were cool, not knowing none of that. It was all good. Why did you feel the need to tell us? And now we're looking at you differently.
Right.
So you're right. And even like reality shows, what's her name? Chrisette Michelle. Am I saying her name? Michelle Chrisette?
Chrisette Michelle.
Her. I believe it was her mom that told her not to do the reality show. I think I don't know if it was like R&B Divas or it was one of those shows. Mm-hmm. She should have took her mother's advice because her mother knew her. Like, let people look at you this way, just as an artist, and not know the insides of you, because they might not like you. And we're people. You can't sing a lick? We still might like you because your personality.
That's
just
true.
like we support companies. We like the customer service. Let me get a pack of now laters. I don't want nothing you got in here, but you're such a nice person. I'll support you anyway. You know, so in her case, I think that was like her demise, not just taking on that job with Trump. It was like, we don't like you, and you did. Oh yeah, you don't even like us. You know what I mean? So that's that. What do? You just be like, okay, I'm not dealing with you. She don't need to do a reality show. Some people, reality shows help them, you know, regarding like the celebrities doing the reality shows, not just, you know, us commoners just coming on.
I feel like a lot of celebrities, it tarnishes their image and makes them seem more low class when it's like, you must be desperate for money to agree to do a reality show.
Really?
I think so. That's what it says to me.
And then
look at Candy Burris. Candy Burris making her money.
Candy Burris ain't like most of them, though.
No, she's not.
She's a true hustler. Like, she's a true businesswoman. These other ones that's their primary paycheck, I sense.
Okay.
Like Kenya Moore. I used to like Kenya Moore till she joined Real Housewives, and you get to see her true character. I don't like her.
Right. Yeah.
Like, mystery. I was okay with the mystery and you being, Miss America, and you trying to do your little movies and have your own field production company and everything. I was okay with the image beforehand, but actually with her joining that and seeing how she really is, I could have done without that because I can't stand her now. Sorry, not sorry.
Listen, and what's interesting, someone that I know really knows her. And guess what they said?
She's the opposite.
No, they said that's her.
Oh, okay.
So you actually were, that was a reality. That's who she is. Mm-hmm. So Nick, you wouldn't have been kicking it with her in high school, huh? You're like, no,
all right. I'd have been kicking her, not kicking it with her, kicking her.
A mess. Look,
always right.
Non-violence. Non-violence.
Yeah, that her attitude. Yeah, that's just, and the thing is, it's a good thing that they didn't have reality TV shows before that, because she wouldn't, if anybody knew, if they had known her true character, if the world had known her true character,
she probably wouldn't have been Miss America.
She would not have been Miss America at all.
That's a great point. That's a great
point. At all.
So should they take her crown?
I mean, no, it's done and over with now. That was back in the day. It's too late now. I mean, that's what I don't understand. Why try to go back and snatch stuff from these people way after the fact? Except if you're messing with kids. But anyway, continue on. There's no need to snatch nothing from nobody that they did 20, 30, 40, whatever accomplishments they made 20, 30 years ago. They work for that. Regardless of their attitude, they work for that. Leave that alone. I mean, I guess they figure the only way we can really hurt you, but, huh?
I said, i.e., recent. Will Smith, he got his award. He earned it.
He earned it.
Yeah, he definitely earned it.
And he did it right before he got it.
Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, that's why
that
I
was
said,
an impulsive, dumb decision. And his wife, if she really, really, really loved her husband like she say she do, and just if you gonna have that man's back, you should have had his back. And just
let me add this to what you
come
just
on,
said.
sit down. This is your moment.
You
just chill out. We'll handle it
you
after.
You said love him like she say she did. She ain't say that. She said she don't know how to love him.
Oh Jesus.
Oh.
But
and he's still there?
Right. Because we talked about this. I was gonna say that it was definitely an emotional response, but I feel like he's in a I don't know, maybe I'm just like anti-man or whatever. But
anti-man, Amber.
I'm very anti-man, but he's in the position a lot of women are in an emotionally, psychologically abusive relationship. And guess what? He's not gonna leave until he's ready. And that's on him. Sorry. It's on him.
He's in that relationship.
He has to be
man. Let's talk about Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. A lot of if you don't know who Kevin Samuels is, he was the YouTuber, and he would give women advice. Now they call him the relationship guru. I've had a relationship guru, still got one. Nick, you might know him. He spoke at the Battle of the Sexes the last time, so he'll be coming again. But he's Doc King, mine. So this guy's calling himself, but Doc King was way back. This guy's calling himself the relationship guru, and what he does is they say, and I'm saying they, air quotes for the they. They say that he just degrades Black women and, just rude and all that extra stuff. Whatever words you want to say about Kevin Samuels, that's what they described him as, a rude, ignorant dude that just degrade Black women. Now, when I watch him, because I allow people to be people, they say that he's rude and ignorant because he'll give advice, but his advice wasn't with compassion. He would just say it. I don't have a problem with that. And his delivery, I didn't have a problem with his delivery either, because it sounds like, just watching him. I don't know the guy. Just watching him periodically, he's just a straight shooter. And let's be real, if we didn't see him and we were just on the phone, some people want true advice, not sugar-coated, don't put icing on it. Just tell me exactly what it is. And they were upset because he had all these like millions of followers. And it's like he dogs them, and most of his followers were Black women. It was like he dogged Black women, he put them down, but that's who was following him, getting this guy paid.
I thought it was a lot of Black men were his subscribers.
That's how he started. He started that way. Because, when he first started, he was pretty, he was supporting the Black male, talking about the Black male, boom, 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 not in a negative way, like building up, like this is what's going on, pretty much. And I'm paraphrasing, pretty much like, ladies, you got to look at you because you have high quality, high value Black men, and building up the Black man. But the problem, what gives you momentum? He didn't have that much momentum. But if you look now and you look at the stats, it was Black women that surpassed him, because that's what he was talking about before. Then once he started talking to the Black women, his numbers went up. So I think that's why his conversation went that direction, because that was where his money was being made at. But you guys got to look at that information that I actually looked at. Okay. You guys can look that up if you want to be challenging. The thing is, when he was talking to the different women, and they would call, and he was kind of rude in some aspect, but you asked the man, if this is where you're going to get it at, why do you keep asking? And that's just me. You're there and you don't like him, but you keep calling and you keep asking him and you talk about him. Now, again, some things was quite rude, but he had some points. Do your thing if that's your thing. And that was his niche. I didn't call in and I didn't watch him every day. Some things I agree with, some things I didn't. Yes, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Look, now, Amber, I'm gonna let you go ahead because of what he talked about. And if you know him, he got YouTube videos, so y'all can go back and check on him and see what he talks about. He was found dead with. Go ahead, Amber. You got it. Take the floor.
So allegedly, we're gonna start with allegedly.
Okay,
He was found unresponsive. He had a heart attack, apparently, or heart issues, heart failure. And he was found with a plus size, allegedly, Latina woman, who he had met the night before. So it was a one night stand situation. And I think the issue with a lot of people are saying that his death was ironic because he said that plus size women are not marriage material, and that they're for one night stands. And he also said that he preferred women under a size, I believe he said a size 6 or a size 7 or something. And the woman he died with was allegedly much larger than that. And then also he was well known for saying that a lot of Black women, as you said, his advice was geared towards Black women, would die alone if they did not settle for the average Black man. And that was something he had said multiple times to multiple of his callers, that, okay, well, you're going to die alone. And that's, if you don't want to lower your standards. And then he ironically died alone with a stranger.
Lowering his standards.
Right, lowering his own standards. And then on top of that, allegedly, his mother and his daughter, who are both Black women, did not find about his passing through the proper channels, through the authorities, but through social media. And then allegedly, the authorities are saying that they had a difficult time locating and contacting his family because the apartment he was living in was not in his name. He was subletting. Even though on social media and in his channel, he was presenting himself as a high, quote unquote, high value man that, has wealth and resources, and high value men have money and have sexual access to all kinds of women. So that's, which, in other cultures, in other communities, and I think for a lot of Black women, being a high value man is more to do with like character and morals, not just money and sexual access. I mean, it's definitely a part of it, but that's not all of it. So that's why a lot of people were there was mixed response about his death. And I will say that I thought it was funny, frankly, when I found out how he died. It was just like, oh, really? And I'm not super big, you know what I'm saying? But I thought I had a problem with what he said about plus size women. I had a problem with a lot of things he had said. He had made a comment about questioning believing a child if they were being sexually assaulted.
That was my problem.
He has made, and then if you look into his history.
Wait a minute, 1 second. When he's talked about not believing, we'll go into detail for people who may not know.
Okay.
Not believing a child when they say they were sexually assaulted, he said because they lie. And I'm going to say alleged just to protect me, but that wasn't. He said it. Somebody could have mixed some tapes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the problem for me, because even, they lie. So, some children lie. But here's the deal. He said he doesn't believe them. But what about the ones that lie and are sexually assaulted and say they're not? So let's let it go both ways. Some that say nobody touched me if you ask your child and they actually were touched and they said they weren't. So you got to go both ways with that. But to just say that you don't believe a child when they say they're sexually assaulted because they lie, well, you just ride with that lie until the truth come out.
Well, I mean, that was one thing. He made a lot of problematic statements, and as you had touched on earlier, it wasn't what he was saying was completely wrong. It was his delivery, and it wasn't just a lack, in my opinion, of the things I observed. it wasn't just a lack of compassion. There was a level of vindictiveness to it. There was a level of spite in his words. I think he at times went on his way to break down his callers, to break down Black women. I feel like not just him, also we could talk about Tommy Sotomayor and his platform. There is a whole sector of Black men whose whole platform is based on devaluing and shaming and embarrassing Black women. He got his momentum after women. He started getting momentum after he started shaming Black women and embarrassing Black women.
But I gotta say this, away from his content, the man started in 2019. This 2022, he did it, and he did it fast. Because some people didn't pick up on him until like late 2019, 2020. Making all that money, a million followers,
allegedly,
in 2 years. Yeah, in 2 years. I actually looked at it. I was like, wow. So,
and I think
that's when I found out about how it changed from the men when he first came, because nobody really knew about him when he was,
that wasn't being received. And I think that
the women, we're the ones that actually put them on. We put them on,
right? And I think that is because there is power in number. I mean, and I feel like, because we've talked about this before, that Black women are like a powerful demographic that deserves attention, and like you can make money off of Black women. And that there is this thing happening where they said, okay, people are trying to profit off of Black outrage.
Yes, and he did that.
And he definitely did that. My thing was, some people, his followers, were like, you guys are horrible for laughing at his death and all blah blah blah. Nobody was saying that when Clarence Thomas died, or when someone, or what's his name, that white man, that conservative that just passed away recently, and people were making all kinds of jokes when he died. So it's like, okay, why are you policing Black women's emotions and trying to determine what Black women are, how Black women are supposed to respond to this man's death, when really he kind of positioned himself as to be the enemy of Black women, or at least the Black woman's image. Like, at the very least, very problematic. So if there is a section of Black women who are just like, oh, well, he died, moving on, I think that's, you're going to get back in death how you chose to live in life. And so he had, like you said, some people call it a straight shooter. I think it was more than that. If you dig into his upbringing and his childhood, you can't convince me he didn't have some issues, some personal issues.
Definitely.
That was coloring his content.
Absolutely. 10%. I believe that when I saw him, and I did my own little evaluation, my own little assessment. Nick, what did you say? Because the listeners didn't hear you.
Karma.
The listeners can't hear you.
I say it loud.
Karma.
There we go. I guess Nick keeps forgetting that. Listen, we're not just visual.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry for my listening audience. I forget, now that we're doing Zoom and everything, I forget y'all. But yes, it's called karma.
Yes.
It always comes back to bite you in your arse. I'm being nice.
That's the truth, isn't it?
Always going to come back. And that's what I was thinking, like, with the contradictory, while you're saying that he's saying, talking about plus size women and settling and all that, and then his life is actually totally different from how he portrayed it. Yes, there is an issue that started from his upbringing, from home. That's a given. That's a given.
Yeah.
His content, the way he devalued Black women, he is upset with his mother, and it will probably come out, but it's something to have to do with his mother or sister, whatever. But that has come from his upbringing, the way he just, like you said, that it's clearly his conversation that clearly he's upset with a family member. And that's, and because like most of the time, like with these men, like if they turn into serial killers, especially when they're, or raping women, or they're a serial killer and they're killing women, and then you find out they've had an issue with their mother.
Well, I already said this. Let me say this for me. I'm not happy. I can't rejoice in someone's death. And I'm just putting that out there. This is for me. Rest in peace. I feel bad for his family, and just losing a loved one. You know that person, even if they have changed as they become an adult. I don't know him before. I know him from where, from what everybody else saw on YouTube. That's who I know that day. I ain't trying to get the resume. However, it's interesting that they couldn't, like his mom, like she was, Amber had, put out there. They didn't find out about his death. They found out the way that we did on social media. So that speaks volumes. Leasing, subleasing, whatever, it doesn't even matter. There was no contact information. So was there some type of issue where he wasn't even communicating with his family and just doing him like, y'all can't even find me? So at some point, you speak to this person, most of us would, you have some type of communication with your parent or a family member, somebody you talk to, maybe not every day. You'd be like, okay, wait a minute, 2 days and went by. Where are they at? Or one day. I usually hear from them, something somewhere, because let's be realistic. When, as an adult, a woman of a certain age, you don't put on there, you might have, when you apply for an apartment or even an application, even if it was in his name, do you really put your parents' name on there? Or do you add somebody else? Because I have other people, emergency contact. Emergency contact nowadays is not parents like it used to be when you were getting a job and younger, in school. It might be a good friend, a cousin, or something like that.
But so, even then, why wasn't whoever he put on there, contacted it, and then
what I'm saying? Been in there because he was subleasing. So
right, exactly, right.
So that would have been there. But I'm just saying, just speaking overall, and it's just like, okay, some people don't communicate with their people. But when I listen to his conversation, and it sounds like the conversation that I have had with many fellas, where if they couldn't get the girl, they wanted the girl to lower her standards. So when I would hear him speak, that's what I got. I was like, oh, he must have liked somebody that was like, no. So he on some get back type stuff.
Yeah.
It was, and some of the stuff when he would communicate with the women live, the ones that were on there, it was right. And he dealt with statistics. And when you say dealing with women overweight, well, we have it as, what is it? 5'4" is the average weight average height for a female. I'm pretty tall. We all kind of pretty tall.
I'm not.
So, no, how tall are you, Amber? About 5'5"?
I'm 5'4".
5'4". Okay, so you're the average. I'm 5'9". You know what I mean? So, and then the average weight was what, 110, 115 for a female at that size, 5'4", at that size. So
not America.
Listen, you better look it up. It'll tell you about your BMI. It definitely would. So you'd be like, based on that particular conversation, the girl's BMI was 29. So that's overweight. You know what I mean? In America, that's a pound away from obesity. So you have to look at, and that's the statistics, and that's what he went off of. And then you have people that are like, no, you got to look at it. But that right there, it was facts what he said. And I know that because I remember that from nursing school. Okay.
Right. And it's not that it wasn't, like I said, it was about the delivery, and then he lied, and then he died on top of a big.
Yeah. I got that. But in this particular one, like I said, he was dealing with statistics, and everybody is different. So some people got offended, like, oh, wait, but not realizing, like, who is he to say 5'4" is the average? Like, I could be saying that. Who is he to be saying 5'4" is the average size of a woman? I'm 5'9", everybody's tall. And I can argue that all day long. Yeah, it's just the statistics that they took. Clearly, they didn't take, they didn't get my information. I didn't turn in my information. Otherwise, the stats would probably be a little different. It might be like 5, 6, you know what I'm saying? But he did that, and those were facts, but people were upset with the facts. Not all the time. Not all the time. I'm just saying in this particular one. And the girl, he was telling, he said, so does that make you below average, average or above average? Because she was overweight. So he was just asking the question, and she said, well, you look at it as below average. So what was happening that I was having an issue with is he was dealing with the stats, talking to her, but he asked her a question, and that stuff is internalized. It's internalized when we speak it. So he told her, he asked her the question, and she actually said, I'm below average. No. So but how he was asking the question, according to the stats, it was that, but he had her say it. And I had an issue with that because when we say things, we speak things.
Sure.
And sometimes people will believe those things. So her saying that, and I shook my head no, because I'm like, no, don't say you below average for somebody else. Wait, let me get my point. So her saying she was below average means that I need to scale it down for the type of man that I have. And that was untrue. That was untrue. I didn't like that. And when she said it, it was like, he was like, okay, so you shouldn't look for a man, I'm paraphrasing, that has A, B, C, and D because you're below average. That was the moral of that conversation. I had a problem with it. Now, if I'm below average, I need somebody above average so we can meet in the middle if that's how you want to play it. But I ain't never below average.
I personally believe like you should, I will say he has some good points. And personally, I believe that you should find someone that is your equal. Okay. So if you only have a high school diploma, look for a man that only has a high school diploma. Right. Okay. If you're a woman and you make $60,000 a year, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you saying, I want a man that makes $60,000 a year because I make $60,000. And I just want to point this out just because, and these are some of his most controversial episodes, just to have understanding of like, this man was quite controversial. But some of the things he said, that Black women are not beautiful, that a mother's parts, genitalias, are used and old, that mothers should not believe their children when they say that their child says a father is sexually abusing her, that big women do not have value, criticize Black women for not being accepting of Black men's deviant sexual appetites despite the high HIV numbers among Black women, diminished the domestic violence stats of Black women, encouraged women to stay in toxic marriages even though he himself had 2 divorces and was a serial single, weaponized dying alone to poach women to embrace the low-value men who were his fan base. And then the very last thing was he died a disgrace. His death was disgraceful, whether he was a YouTuber or not.
Okay.
Now, some men might think I would love to die in the middle of the act.
I want you to finish your point, but let me say this. That's the opinion of whoever wrote that. Okay, that's their opinion. Now, when that one part stuck with me, when it said, mothers have used parts.
Right. He had made a comment about that.
Okay,
about women.
Okay, but watch this. Talking about the genitalia.
Mm-hmm.
It's accurate. It's accurate. And that's how it was back in the day. And here I'm going to help you out. Color purple. Mm-hmm. You can have Celie, though. She used twice. Remember, Celie had those children. So that part, that's not unheard of. Yeah, uses, but whoop-de-whoop, you had a child. Okay. Now, does it diminish the fact that you are not worthy, or does that make you below average? No, but we have to understand that that's the opinion of someone else and whatever they want and what they choose. And that's what he depicted. His whole platform was based off of what somebody else want, but how we should respond to what they want. And I would hope that the females paid attention to that. So it's like, okay, you guys, all you women out there that did boop, 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 try to tear down your self-esteem. That's what he's trying to do to me. But he told the truth, it was some truth in it, but his delivery, like I stated, without compassion. but you want us to lower our standards, but you still have yours. And the reason I see it that way is because I am that way. I am that way. This is who I am. Take me as I am. This is me. But I'm not going to choose. I'm not going to lower my standards. I'm going to choose up. Kind of like what you just said. Well, if you got a high school diploma, date somebody with a high school diploma. I disagree with that. If I got a high school diploma, I'm dating somebody with a college degree.
But that was a big part of Kevin Samuel's argument, is that women need to lower their standards.
That's what I just said. But yeah. I'm on the other side where my standards are high. But if you want to deal with me, I am who I am. So guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to change. So if you feel as though, yes, I'm a mother. If you feel as though my genitalia is old and raggy, okay, that's fine and dandy, because everybody has choices. But guess what? I'm still going to shoot high. I'm not going to shoot low because, I have children. Okay, well, he got children too. He got like 9 of them. So I guess I might as well go ahead and give him a chance. Absolutely not. Well, I'm not interested. And I'm going to tell you why. I am not interested in somebody who has 9 children, because I feel like this. Some people date just to date, and some people date with a purpose. So if I'm dating you, I'm dating with a purpose. And I already know that I can't afford, if something happened to you, you get in a car accident or you pass away, I can't afford 9 children. So ain't no sense in me even going that direction. If I'm dealing with my 2 plus your 9, no. So yes, I did seek out me. That anybody tell you, listen, if you have 1 child, I'll be like, okay, I can do 3. My 2 and your 1. Okay, I can see this going somewhere. And this is my truth. And so if you look at my record, they're going to be like, dang, they do only got 1 child. But you got to look at it. You have to look at the reality. It's like I'm dating with a purpose. So if I'm looking at you, if something happens to you, God forbid, am I able to live the way that I like to live and still support your child? If I know you got 9, 8, whatever, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm just dating you, but that all comes with you. That means I got to buy 9, 10, 11 Christmas gifts. You know what I mean? And be fair across the board. So if I know for a fact this is something that I am not willing to do, because I like to live the way that I like to live and my lifestyle won't change, I'm not going that direction. That's why with him saying certain things, I'm looking like, oh, okay, you're saying it from a male's perspective, where when we look at it, I don't tell my sisters, no, if you have a GED, if you don't have a high school diploma, you definitely go up and still have that man, make that man respect you.
That's the main thing.
So
go ahead.
This is my issue with it. Yes, it's factual and it's accurate. Mothers have used vaginas. But here's the thing. It's the hypocrisy in his death. He didn't have the same standards for men. And there was a lot of hypocrisy. And that's just one example where it's just like, oh, well, you have less value. And like you said, he made them verbalize it. It was intentional. It was to bring them down. It was to make them feel less than. Yes, it's accurate. I have a used vagina, but guess what? You got a used dick. Like,
now that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And it was,
Bumpy Johnson.
Right. Okay. And let's take it a step further. And not only is your penis used, you don't even know how to use it. A lot of his subscribers were incel black men that didn't have access to pussy, that didn't have the things that women wanted, that women sought after, and that's why other men were able to pull multiple women, and that's what they wanted. So instead of saying, let me up my game, let me be a better man, they would come to Kevin Samuels and say, let me watch this man destroy women and pull down their self-esteem so I have a chance to bag them. And then if I do get that woman, let me continue to tear her down and keep her self-esteem and her self-worth low so that I can continue to have sexual access. Because to these men, don't nothing matter to them besides sex. All they care, their whole argument is sex focused. Their priorities is sex focused. And then you've got men like Kevin Samuels weaponizing women's desire to have marriage and stability and commitment to tear them down, to tear those women down and say, oh, well, you're below average and you need to lower your standards or you're going to die alone. Now, they're talking about Black women. Yes, American women, particularly Black women, are severely obese. Guess who's trailing right behind Black women? Black men. Black men
yeah, you ever seen a man with some hips?
Okay, some childbirth hips. Okay,
that is a turn off.
That's my issue. The hypocrisy.
Your hips are bigger than mine.
Hypocrisy.
I don't want you.
I don't want you. I don't want you. And that was my issue with it, because if you wanted me to go in on the issues of Black women and things, especially from low class Black women, I can go in all day. I would talk. I'm not sitting here defending indefendable behavior. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like you said in the beginning, when you're talking about when you're giving someone truth, but not with compassion and love, you're giving someone truth with spite and with vitriol behind it. That is very toxic, is very damaging, and that ain't serving the Black community. That's not serving Black women, trying to convince Black women that their standards is too high or whatever. Nah.
Now, Amber, you used the term incel.
Yes.
Explain that to the people.
So incel is a contraction of two words of involuntarily celibate. Now, this became mainstream when that Canadian young white man went and shot up a yoga studio. And that's when it became more mainstream. But the FBI and them peoples have been investigating them because they are very likely, their rhetoric, which is a part of Kevin Samuels and the manosphere, those men are more likely to go out and harm women, harm strangers, women they don't even know. Okay, and it was escalating. And even with the pandemic, this has been covered in like major news outlets. There's a huge increase in domestic violence, huge increase of Black women experiencing intimate partner violence. And a lot of it, and then they're discovering, just like that, the subway shooter in New York, he was a Kevin Samuels supporter. Okay, so his ideology, his argument, his messaging. Also, I wanted to recently point out something, that he supported domestic discipline. So men discipline their wives like children. And you can sit here and rename it, but that is violence. He was condoning and encouraging men to be violent with their partners. The man was very problematic. Very problematic. And and the whole manosphere is on the FBI radar.
I wish a nigga would, excuse me. Yeah, no.
Nick said she taking him to wish a nigga woods.
Exactly.
Y'all going camping.
Exactly. Listen, that's one thing. Abuse of who? Listen,
that was
we'll be sitting in the hospital together.
They're trying to rename it. They're trying to rename domestic violence.
We'll be sitting in the hospital together because I might not be able to be the man, but guess what? Any weapon I pick up, honey, I'm aiming to hurt you just like you trying to hurt me. That is not what is going to happen, because my parents did not raise me to be no man's punching bag.
Okay, Nick said a sword for a sword. Okay.
Boom. There you go. An eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. All right. The side teeth missing. Y'all better check them out. But listen, the incel is involuntary celibate, meaning you can't get none.
Basically.
Okay. So I just want to put that out there because I understood it when you said, because remember the first time I was like, wait, what now? But I want the listening audience to be aware of that as well. And usually people act out. And it does seem like these people that are spazzing out and upset is sex motivated. And if it's sex motivated, and the people that are acting out, they are usually an incel. And then you want to call a girl out of her name because nobody's voluntarily saying, hey, here you go. But you do have those men. That one guy that was the doctor, the one guy that was a doctor, maybe he listened to Kevin Samuels. What do
They
you
killed
do?
the wife and the kids.
No. The one doctor who wasn't built and thought they were, and was going to a lightweight, like, I'm just out for sex. The resident. Think about it. Is a resident. He was and went to a coffee shop.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I remember. Sorry, I was confused.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm like.
Yeah,
that was
right. No, exactly. And if you remember the details that I shared with you regarding that story, the lead up to the first 5 minutes, that was classic incel. That was these alpha males dating coaches strategies that they recommend that their followers use to debase and devalue, to cause confusion, to buck the tradition, all this other nonsense. And they don't realize that, okay, you're actually making your situation worse. Not only that, but a lot of these, I'm gonna say it, these black male dating coaches, they're not married. They're not in successful relationships. They're not in long-term relationships. How is somebody that has yet to achieve something specific, a healthy, loving, long-term marriage commitment, whatever, gonna tell you how to do it? I mean, to me, that don't make no sense. Kevin Samuels was twice divorced, and he was perpetually single. He was always dating. I think he could teach them how to roster date, but roster dating does not create deep emotional connections and a stable relationship. That's the opposite of that.
Now, on that, I believe that people can give you advice. Now, I don't know, his situation. You said he was married twice. I believe that you don't have to be married to give marital advice. And watch this. And you're probably like, how you going to do that? How you going to give marital advice and you're not married? You can, especially if you were. If you were. And certain situations, he could say what he did wrong.
He wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't at all. But I'm saying, because people can learn if you're in a relationship and you're like, okay, well, I'm in this marriage, and somebody who has been married, they can say, okay, well, I know where I went wrong. I made this mistake. You don't want to make that. You know what I mean? You don't want to make that mistake. And yeah, he was promoting staying in your relationship, but you got to watch that, because you could be in a bad relationship and then they call it domestic discipline. Okay, so
right. I also
better
add to that, as far as in reference to him, he was a father also. So, and as we talked about, they found a secondhand about his passing, but also allegedly he lied. He falsified court documents, so that he wouldn't have to pay as much child support. Allegedly. So
that's file, but you do have some people that new spouses that'll come on the scene, or girlfriends that'll come on the scene to help them falsify documents, not to pay however much in child support. Right. Now, you speaking on that, that's an issue for me. It's an issue for me, because when you have an issue paying the minimal amount of child support, that speaks volumes about that dad. That's the siren. So yeah, we going over. Yeah, we going over. That's the 12 o'clock siren. We're going over. But I gotta address this issue. That's an issue for me, because you are putting a price on your bloodline.
Yeah.
So if you only want to pay 150 or 200, you're like, that's all you need, 200 to take care of that child. Is that all I need to take care of you? Or is that all you need to take care of you for a month? Those are things we got to look at, because as we get older, our needs are lesser.
Right. And I brought that up because, as far as whatever his relationship was with his mother and his daughter, that he was questionably, and apparently one of the mother of his child said he was an inconsistent father to their child or whatever. Like this, the way some of these people are talking about his passing, you would have thought he was the Pope. Like, this was a very problematic man. Okay, he was an extremely problematic man. He had a lot of history, and based on the things that we do know factually, no, he wasn't a good person. Sorry. that's reality. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's okay for a man to falsify his income so he ain't got to pay child support. That's trifling. You a trifling man if that's what you're doing.
It is trifling, but it speaks volumes of that male. And the sad part, if you have that female that's there, you got to side eye her, because I don't know, me personally don't know any female that will be okay with a male not paying child support, not trying to support your child or paying child support.
He didn't have no woman. The woman he died with.
I'm not even talking about him. I'm on, just
anybody
overall. And I just really think that the men out there, I see there's men on the feed, not saying that they're that person, but I just feel like if it's your homeboy or something, you got to look at the bigger picture. If you don't want to pay child support and whatever amount it is, you have to ask, am I worth that? Because that's your blood in there. That is you. And if you don't love you, I don't need to be loving you.
Okay, so piggyback off that, when you said your homeboys, there are lots of Black men who have a friend who's trifling, who doesn't take care of their kids, who tries to skirt getting out of paying child support, and they still friends with them. And I feel like that's a big
reason. You don't want them to be friends. Now that's crazy.
No, I know, because it's birds of a feather. I'm not going to affiliate or be friends with somebody that I think has questionable morals. Like you said, it really does speak on that man's character. And it's because it's okay. Because it's okay, because they don't mind it. That's why.
Look, okay. All right, Amber. Let's do this. The disciples, Jesus's boys, were they all right?
No,
exactly. So you can keep I wouldn't separate myself from them. I would try to keep encouraging them and talking to them. That's what I would do. Like, okay, you need to do this, or ask them the question.
Be inspired.
That's how much you care about yourself. And a lot of people haven't probably looked at it that way. They probably hadn't said, "Oh man, that is my blood, so I guess I don't care that much about me." Well, and I only want to pay $75. Can I take care of myself monthly for $75? I mean, you got to look at that, because guess what? That is you.
Okay, so I think that the reason why a lot of men are, cry about child support is because they're weak. But besides that, is because they're not connected to the child. Right? They have no emotional connection to the child. It might have been a jump off. It could have been their side piece or whatever. A lot of these children are born to men that don't want them. Let's keep it 100. So
you.
And while it's still them, I'm gonna switch it. It's still on them, because at the end of the day, nobody forced that man to put his genetic material inside that woman's vagina. Like, it's a consequence of your actions. Choose better. Stop impregnating women you don't want to deal with for a long period of time, that you don't want to commit to, that you don't want to build a family with. It's still on them, and it's their fault, and that's consequences. So it is what it is. And there is what is problematic to me is that these males are okay destroying a child's life psychologically, giving them all kinds of burdens and issues that they got to work through into adulthood, because they can't keep it in their pants, or they can't step up to the mantle of manhood and rear this child that they willingly created that they actually didn't want.
That's right there the key. You cannot step up and take it. So in some cases, it's good that the male is not there, because you don't know what type of upbringing that they, I mean, it's like, I don't know, the mental capacity is not there. So yeah, in some cases, no, they do not need to be around that child, because they're not capable of taking care of themselves. They're not stepping up to be a man. And, if you're not stepping up to be a man, how can you raise your child, especially a young male, to be a man? You can't do it. So in that case, yeah, stay your tail on, but you still need to pay your child support to help support that child, but they're not capable. Everything else is important, but that seed that they created.
So would that be bad decision making on a female? She laid down with a broken male.
Yes. Period. And black women especially, we have, and it's because black women are socialized to value themselves, to value their womb, to value the burden, the stress, and the sacrifice of motherhood. Because if we were like, well, I don't need no man, if that wasn't a trope in our community, bitch, you need a man. Children are not meant to be raised by themselves. And that's not just for what's in the best interest of time. It's what's in your best interest. If black women thought about themselves more, they said, oh, no, I got to have a man to have a kid. No, I can't do this by myself. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I was talking to one of my friends about this. Women, ladies, if there is no man on this earth that won't commit to you. If there's a man that won't commit to you is not worth the trauma, the sacrifice of being a single mother. There is no man on this earth that won't commit to you that is worth the trauma and the sacrifice of giving your child up for an adoption. There is no man on this earth that won't commit to you that is worth the trauma and the sacrifice of having an abortion. But guess what? Those are your three options. When you're impregnated by a man that won't commit to you, you got three choices and they all suck. So, and the one that least sucks is an abortion. The one that hurts you the least. But they're all going to hurt. There's all going to be trauma. There's all going to be baggage. There's all going to be damage on some level. And that's what happens when you deal with a man that won't commit to you, either doesn't want to or can't. It's bad.
Sounds like it. Look, I'm like, sounds like it. It is.
It's just like, don't deal with no man. He can't give you nothing. He can't give you nothing, or he don't want to give you nothing.
No, that's true.
Exactly.
They don't want to, but that's when you have to see. So, like a first date, real quick. First date, want to take you to a coffee shop.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I mean just regular. You know, because you have some guys that's out there like, okay, well, let me see if she's a gold digger, or we just gonna go have a conversation. First date, coffee shop, but you don't drink coffee. Are you going on that first date?
Well,
let's ask Nick. Let's ask Nick.
That would be unfair because yes, I do drink coffee.
No,
but then,
I said if you don't. I gave
you. If you don't,
right?
They got tea.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Not all of them don't.
Right. So,
Starbucks got tea. That's exactly. A coffee shop.
Thank you.
But it depends on the type.
Oh, okay.
So, do you tell him off top?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't drink coffee. Is there somewhere else that you would like to meet me?
Okay, so do you tell him that though off top?
Yeah.
Okay, you tell him, Amber?
Yes, and I did. And I think there was an assumption.
Oh, what you talking about? Amber.
There was an assumption, like we all agreed, that coffee shops sell tea.
Wait a minute. Okay, so somebody invited you to a first date to a coffee shop.
Right. And I've actually had that several times, and I'm okay with it because to me, that's not a date. And I'll make it clear. That's not a date, but that's a meetup. If you've met someone online, I can totally understand just wanting to meet to make sure they're not a catfish, make sure they're not a psychopath. And then after that initial physical meeting, then start dating. And I have read that like that's not a good idea and you shouldn't do that. And you should force them, make the first meeting a proper date. And I will say the men that I've dealt with where our first meeting was a proper date, those relationships were more successful than the meetups. But I mean, I'm not against it. I feel like I'd rather just, when I'm getting to know a man, I would rather just take a back seat and kind of be in observation mode. And if a man is throwing me crumbs, it's like, okay, I'm going to take note of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to force it because now I'm not getting to see his true colors and what he actually thinks of me. But I mean, I'll go on a coffee date. Well, meet.
My point was, would you tell them if you didn't drink coffee and they said, hey, let's go here. And they'd say a coffee, they go into a coffee shop and you don't drink coffee. Would you tell them?
Yeah, I would say I don't drink coffee, but I'll get a cup of tea. I'll order a cup of tea. because I do drink tea.
Okay.
Or, like someone said, just get a cup of water, and just, because the purpose is to meet them. It's not, the purpose isn't coffee. The purpose is to meet and interact and engage with this person and see if there's a connection.
Okay. Well, where I'm going with this is most times someone will offer to meet somewhere, and up front, we don't say exactly what it is. Meaning, okay, if I don't drink coffee and they say, hey, well, let's meet up at this coffee shop. At that moment, to me, at the beginning, at the conversation, be like, oh, okay, do you like coffee? I don't, with hopes that they'll ask me, be like, oh, I don't like coffee, but we can meet up in the parking lot. But those are things that need to be voiced at the beginning so that they can get to know you immediately before you even waste your gas at $4 a gallon.
Right.
You can say, I don't drink coffee, but I'll meet you there, just kind of like what Nick said. But you have some people that'll just meet them there, and guess what happens? The next date is where they're actually saying where you're a go along.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I'm going. You're a go along. And they're like, oh, okay, well, she didn't even drink coffee, but I said, let's go here. So now we're going to go there. And then they'll be ordering for you. And then you're like, okay, this relationship, somebody in that relationship is not going to be happy. And off top is going to be the person that was the go along. And and it's not his fault that you didn't say, tell the whole truth or reveal that I don't even like coffee. It was almost like that Coming to America, whatever you like. But they can meet you on the phone right then. It's like, okay, this is the type of person. Boom, I know how this is going to go. So if I think that I'm going to sit here and drink some water, like old girl said, okay, she's not going to be that because she wants to go somewhere that she likes. So I know I better come right. Somebody invited me out. True story. They invited me out. I didn't know that. And I told them, I said, well, blah, 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 blah. And they said, okay. And I'll let y'all figure out whatever y'all want. But anyway, let your imagination go where it wants. It didn't go nowhere good. I mean, it wasn't like that. It wasn't negative. Look at Amber's face like, ha! And it wasn't sexual at all. All right. So we go to dinner, and he said, order whatever you want. I did that. I guess it was too much.
Get out of town.
But watch this though. But watch this. So I said, oh, what are you eating? Oh, I'm just going to drink this water. So that's an uncomfortable situation.
That sounds like a freaking alpha male dating strategy tactic. I bet somebody told him to do that nonsense. You don't inside their head. Okay, I'm serious. Just do dumb stuff. Just do dumb stuff.
Listen, I ain't feel bad. I had my meal. But no jokes, all jokes aside. But I thought it was caring. I thought it was really nice. Like, oh my gosh, you gave me your last. That was me, the way that I perceived it. Now, you said you bet somebody told you to go ahead and do that. Well, they didn't have enough to pay for what I wanted. Wait. Pay for what I wanted. I'm going to get to the meat of it.
Okay.
And the tip. Because what they did, and we're still good friends to this day. What they did is made an assumption of about how much the meal was going to be and what I would possibly order. So they only brought enough that they thought would be for both of us. Here you go. Well, it wasn't. So that is the prime example of kind of like what you were saying. Like, okay, well, this is what I eat. This is how much it costs. So I'm here. I got a GED, so I'm gonna date somebody with a GED. And I'm only using it as an example. And guess what? She was more than a GED. So am I able to deal with this type of individual? Can I date this individual? Can I afford this individual? You have people that they'll go buy clothes to date a certain individual.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, this is kind of expensive. I've had that before. It's like, oh man, you were so expensive today. I had to go buy new outfits and everything. But
he's punching above his grade.
Yes. But guess what I appreciated? I appreciate the fact that you thought enough of me to come my way. and didn't expect me to come yours.
Right.
Because we constantly hear, oh, why you are overdressed. Oh, you'll hear that. Oh, you always dress up. Huh?
Yeah.
So we're not going down, fellas. And this is opposite too. With the fellas, hold yourself to a higher standard. I got somebody, let me tell you, one of my homeboys, he'll tell you. He was like, oh, no. My penis is special. Yes. He got it going on too. Cool. He was like, oh no, I'm not sleeping with her. So men are out here and they're the same way. They're like, no, I date. They date where they choose to date. But now I can't say that was Kevin Samuels because we see the outcome. But this particular person, he's like, no. And then the girl get upset with him because he won't sleep with her. He don't deem her worthy.
Right.
And you got to allow that. And then what do we say as women? Oh, he must be gay. Maybe
that's not always the case.
Right.
But we are guilty of doing that. I can't just be like, okay, boom, boom, boom. We are guilty of doing that. Like if they don't see me and we see ourselves at a certain standard, but maybe it's not high enough for him. But we can't get upset and downplay him and degrade him and say, oh, okay, well, yeah, he must be gay because he didn't even want to have sex with me. And he didn't want to do. And that's not the case. Maybe it's something in you and he may be dating with a purpose because there are men out there that's dating with a purpose as well.
True.
Right. And then we have a tendency of getting mad when the tables are turned and somebody is saying that about us. And it's like, no, you're just not my preference. So, we as women, and I'm not going to just say black women, but it is mostly black women, but we as women, black women, yes, but women as a whole need to realize that, just like we have standards, men have standards. So it's okay if we are not their cup of tea. Just like somebody might not be our cup of tea, we might not be theirs. And we cannot judge on that fact because we don't want to be judged that way.
Go ahead, Amber. What you got to say?
No, I was gonna say I've definitely had this experience, like especially like if you're bigger than what a man prefers weight wise. But I would like to take it a step further when you talk about being judged. The difference is, and there are some men who are dating with purpose, but we talk about the majority. They're not, okay, let's keep it 100. And so the other issue is, yes, women, we tend to have standards for who we'll entertain. Men have high standards. Men have very high standards for marriage and commitment. But for sex, there's almost no standards. And so I think women confuse sexual access with a commitment, right? Or that there's a possibility of commitment, whereas men fully understand you're good enough to smash. You're not good enough to take home. And so then it's just like take it a step further than that. It's like, oh, I'm not even good enough to smash. Then it's like, okay, well, now you're going to start degrading his character or whatever, maybe because that man in particular has higher standards for who he's willing to have sexual relations with. But most men, their standards for sexual relations, just like Kevin Samuels, is very, very different from who they deem worthy of commitment. And I think, honestly, a lot of it has to do with they don't want to get married at all. That a lot of them, they make these standards so high that oftentimes they don't even meet themselves, but they want it in a woman. And they have unattainable standards that the woman is supposed to jump through all these hoops because really they don't want to be in a committed relationship at all.
Now, you know what? I got to speak to Kevin Samuels and his one night stand. And this is what I'll say for that. I'm sure, I'm just going to say that she probably knew who he was and you know what he stands for. So why would you even allow yourself to be in that situation?
Well, I think she was non-black, first of all. So she wasn't.
It don't matter, just as a female. But that's what I'm saying.
There's no female unity.
No. What I'm saying is, if you hear what he says, he has a problem and you talk to him, he talk about being overweight, being less average. Why, if I know that I'm overweight and I'm that person, why would I even want to sleep with you? This is what you said you don't like. So I'm not going to sit there and allow you to partake in partake in my time or take some of my time, partake in my intimacy when you don't like this. See, that's self-esteem. So we have to, as females, say, no, if this is not what you like, no, we have to stand up. And they ain't no revenge. Like, hi, look, girl, I done slept with them. I conquered them. You know, I did. People have that standpoint, but we got to end the show. So you got to keep it real short because I got to get to my male's medical moments.
Oh, okay. Real short. Allegedly, she might have been an escort. So it was paid services. Allegedly, she might have not known not know who he was because his fan base is mostly Black people. And he's really not mainstream outside of the Black community. So those are two reasons as to why she might have still dealt with him. That's it.
All right. Look. Okay. Let's talk essential foods. We have you guys anybody got their loaf of bread?
I still have it.
Okay. Shout out. We'll put it in the screen. There you go. Shout out to blackbreadco.com. We got the honey wheat bread. And we said we will shop it. So yay.
Yes, we support Black Bread Company.
Yes. I thought it was $10 a loaf, but you get 2 loaves. So it's $5 a loaf. It's gourmet bread. It's very soft. The bread lovers liked it. I ate a few pieces. Look, I ate like 2. It wasn't bad. And you know what? For wheat bread, usually it's sweet. It wasn't that sweet. So as an essential food, what? Give me 3 essential foods that you know, Nick, real quick. That you got when you're younger. You ain't get too long. Go ahead, Amber.
Eggs, bread, milk.
Yes, eggs, bread, and milk. Guess what, lovely people? That's the essential foods that we grew up with. What's that sound?
That sound is Mel's medical moments.
Yay, Mel's medical moments. Yes, we're talking about essential foods. What we knew, what we grew up on was eggs, bread, and milk. And those are the things that kind of got us through. If you didn't have nothing else in the refrigerator, if you had eggs, bread, and milk, guess what? You were eating. Well, we have got this. Let me say this first. The essential nutrients that we must have, got to give you those first. Your proteins, your fat, definitely water. Well, I don't know what I did. I drank all mine. I'm like, water, like, where is it at? Definitely water, vitamins, minerals, and carbs. Yes, bread is a carb, but the essential food sources, I want to put it out there, is your eggs, your dairy. We talked about the milk, nuts, red meats. It has to be lean. You got to be safe and careful with that. Soy and fish. That's what we need to be eating, lovely people. Those are essential foods and essential nutrients. Again, protein, fat. Look at what you're eating. Water, vitamins, minerals, and carbs. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is me, and the views of Mel are not the views of the co-hosts of Shop Talk with Mel, okay? Sugar. I'm going to talk about sugar. Too much of anything is not good. But the fake sugar that you think is good, understand this. Our body knows sugar, pure sugar, and knows how to digest it. So what's happening is, I don't have the time to explain it right now, but once we eat, the food is digested, it goes to different departments or compartments, whatever you want to say. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like a factory, a different department where it goes. The fake sugar, I'm not going to say a name to protect us here, is unknown to the human body. So where does it go? Is it just sitting? They don't know where to go to be digested properly. So you guys, please be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. And we do know that we all have cancer cells in our body and there's certain things that trigger them. So be careful, be careful, be careful. Watch what you eat. If you're not a meat eater, get your nuts, get your protein in there. Get what you need the best way that you know how. All right, today's footnote is we must stop blaming others for our own imperfections. We must stop blaming others for our own imperfections. And when I say that regarding relationships. All right, lovely people. That is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every single Saturday. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You have no idea. Don't forget to like us on all platforms and tune in. Whatever your favorite podcast is, just tune in. check us out. Shop Talk with Mel. Let's Shop Talk. I'd like to thank my co-host today, Nick the Voice. And Amber is always going to come through. Listen, Amber be mad at the men, don't she? You can hear that. Like,
yes, she be on it though. She be on it.
But I just remember something after we did Mel's Medical Month. Kevin Samuels didn't like nurses.
Okay. No, I'm mad about it. No.
Guess what? Kevin Samuels don't like that no more.
But I'm okay with that. Guess why? Because he don't even know me. So whatever nurse he encountered, he ain't like them.
Right.
All right, lovely people. That is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you like as I do every single Saturday. Find you, embrace you, most importantly. Always, always love you. Until next week, people.
Shop Talk
right here on yours. Oh, on every podcast. I was about to just get it. Spreaker though. Right there. Oh man, let's see what we doing here. I can't even get off. I know we still live. We still doing it, and we'll continue talking after the show. We got to do something good. Yeah. Hey, listeners, y'all make sure put something down there. What y'all want to talk about? And if there's a Black business and you want us to test your stuff and judge you, the no judgment zone. Try your product. Feel free to do so. You can inbox us. You can comment below. You can mail it to the P.O. box as we got our bread, and we'll get that. We'll get that on here, and we'll support you. But today, Black Bread Co. All right, Black business bread. Now we got Black bread owners doing it up, and it was fresh.
Yes, I like that. It was fresh.
Yes, I know, right? Because I was sitting there like, oh, please let it be. They're gonna mail it. Like, how old is it gonna be? Then y'all
right
about that you can freeze it and all that good stuff. But yeah, so if you have like a product you want us to try, feel free, reach out, contact one of us, and then we'll get it out and we'll try it. We'll try it live. We got some skincare product too, Like Me Skincare. Yeah, so we're gonna check that out, and hopefully we can get her on. If not, we'll try our product and somebody can tag her in and tell her what we think about it. All right.